Hi everybody, what's up? My name is Juan, I am Just One Reader, and you are watching the 10 worst books that I read in 2017. And you are probably thinking, what's the deal, man? 2017 is not even over yet. And you're right, we are just starting December, and I've decided to make this video now instead of waiting until the end of the year because firstly, because I just was very excited and I needed to do this video. But also because I'm really positive in my December TBR. I think that the books that I will be reading in the last 4 or whatever weeks of 2017, I think those books will not let me down as much, even if I don't like them as much as I think I will. There's no way they're going to disappoint me that much to actually be part of the 10 worst books of the year. So I'm kind of trusting that TBR. So I'm really confident and really happy with my selection for today's video. So I am going to present you with a top 10 in order, in actual ranking. 10, number 10 is going to be the least worst of the worst, and I'm gonna work my way up or down, however way you want to see it, to the first one, which is going to be the worst book that I read in 2017. Now, of course, there are some obvious disclaimers that I should be making in a video such as this one, which are the usual disclaimers that we all make, which are, these are just my opinions. This is just what I think. Of course, I am entitled to my own opinion, just as you are to yours, and that's kind of, a very positive thing, to embrace the diversity on BookTube and in our community. However, I really wanna stress that disclaimer, because silly as it sounds, I think it will be necessary for some people to just remember that this is just what this Mexican person, this Mexican booktuber thinks, because I will be including a lot of books in this top 10 worst that people really love, really adore, and I will probably become not a very popular person by the end of this video, or maybe even more popular. I don't know. I don't care, honestly. I just want to share this and have a laugh, as always. So I'm going to be very succinct, very brief. I have talked enough about these books already in my channel. So I'm just going to start with number 10, which is, out of all these, this is the one that I enjoyed the most, I guess. And that is Murder on the Orient Express by Agatha Christie. So yes, I actually included this in my top 10 worst because it was disappointing. It was not very enjoyable. It was clever and it was quirky. Hercule Poirot is a character that I really liked. The story itself kind of let me down. It was not as great as And Then There Were None, which I read last year or the year before that. So yeah, this was just a matter of expectations versus reality. So I ended up giving it 3 stars, which is not the worst rating, but there you go. Coming in at number 9 is a book that, just as Murder on the Orient Express, it's not that it was awful, it's just a matter of my expectations. I really expected something different from what I actually got, and that is No One Can Pronounce My Name by Rakesh Satyal. I would actually recommend this novel to some readers, maybe, but it was just not for me. It was not what I was looking for in that particular moment in my year, so I ended up giving it 3 stars. It was kind of uneven, inconsistent. There were some parts that I enjoyed, but most of the book I was just very bored and kind of waiting for it to be over, really, sadly, but it's true. Coming in at number 8 is Autumn by Alice Smith. So yeah, I really did not enjoy this very much, and I also came into this with very high expectations after having read her novel There But For The, and I really loved that. I gave it 5 stars, I think, or 4 stars whenever I read it. And this was just not for me. I really did not get along with her writing style in this particular novel. She is still an author that I really want to read. I think she has very interesting things to say and a very interesting way of communicating those ideas. But this story just did not appeal to me. So I gave it like 2 stars. Then coming at number 7 is a play. I think this was the only play that I read in 2017, which, by the way, is something that I should rectify in 2018. I need to read more variety of formats or media. So this was Arthur Miller's Death of a Salesman. I gave this actually, 2 stars. This was okay. I acknowledge its merit and its relevance and how important it is. But yeah, it was kind of boring. That's all I want to say, really. Then coming in at number, what are we? 6, I think. Coming in at number 6 is another book that just wasn't what I wanted it to be. So it's not the book's fault. It's kind of my fault. And that is Bryan Cranston's biography or memoir, A Life in Parts. And I remember I bought this last Christmas, actually, when I was in Los Angeles. I bought this. I had just binge watched Breaking Bad, and I was in love with the show. Like, I was in love with the show and with the character of Walter White and, Bryan Cranston. And of course, I saw this in a bookstore, and I saw this cover and back cover combo, and I obviously purchased it, and I read it, and it was pretty much what it is supposed to be, which is a memoir about Bryan Cranston, not about Breaking Bad. So I was very disappointed, stupidly disappointed, because it was honestly my fault for expecting impossible things out of this book. So I gave it 2 stars. I just didn't really care for a memoir of Bryan Cranston. Okay, now we're down to the nitty-gritty, and this is where I really need to strongly emphasize my disclaimer, because, here come the big ones. These are the 5 books that I enjoyed the least, or that I think it would be better to say that these are the books that disappointed me the most. And these are very well-loved, very popular books on BookTube, so beware. Coming in at number 5 is Tin Men by Sarah Winman. I put this in 5th place and not worse, because I actually acknowledge and appreciate it for what it is, for its message, for what it's trying to say, and just for the fact that it is about a gay relationship. That thematically, that's enough for me to not place it in a worse ranking in this top 10 worst books of the year. But in all honesty, I did not enjoy this book. It was not good for me. I was very bored. I did not get on with the writing style. It's not that there was anything wrong with it. It was just not a match, and I felt completely cold and completely distant from everything in it. So I gave it 2 stars. Moving on to number 4. So coming in at number 4 is Mary Poppins by P.L. Travers. I hated this book. And I really wanted to love it, because I usually enjoy the idea of Mary Poppins quite a bit. But this was just dull. It was so dull and so stupidly boring, and episodical and fragmented, and the only redeeming quality was the character of Mary Poppins herself. She is a stone-cold bitch. She is a masochistic, no, not masochistic. She's a sadistic bitch, and she is just a very fun character. But story-wise, plot-wise, it's just the worst book. I hated it, and I gave it, I think, 1 star. Mary Poppins. Coming in at number 3 is a book that I have seen on a lot of people's favorites of the year, and that is The Clay Girl by Heather Tucker. Yeah, this was so popular last year. It made it into a lot of my favorite booktubers' lists of their favorite books of last year, and I gave it 1 star. I hated it. I really, really, really despised it. There were some clever things, there were some potential in some of its ideas and in its themes more than anything else, but I did not like the writing. I thought everything was very irritating. And basically, I feel I feel about this book the same way that most people felt about A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara, which funnily is a book that I really liked, whereas this one I could not stand, which is funny that I really liked A Little Life, which a lot of people hated, and then this one, it's kind of the other way around. So yeah, I could not stand it. I gave it 1 star easily. Now, coming in at number 2 is one of the most popular authors and one of the most popular series that I have seen on BookTube, but I could not get on with it. I really could not. I tried, but I couldn't. Ship of Magic by Robin Hobb. This is my Spanish copy, obviously. This is the first book in the Lifeship Traders trilogy by Robin Hobb, and I just couldn't. I couldn't. I should have DNF'd it. I should have done something, but I tried. I really, really tried. I gave it 1 star. If I could give it half a star, I would give it half a star. And I will say that I commend the author for her ideas. I think the characters and the ideas and the plot were very exciting and very interesting and had a lot of crazy potential, but I did not get on with her writing style. This book was so repetitive, so boring, so dull, so unnecessarily long, and so unnecessarily elaborate. It did not need to be like that. I was bored out of my mind, and yeah, I mean, it was very inconsistent. It was a very uneven reading experience because there were some parts that I really liked, and like I said, a lot of it had a lot of potential, and I really would love to be able to read this story with these characters, but written by a different author. Sadly, but that's how I felt. And finally, last but certainly not least, coming in at number 1, this is the worst book that I have read this year, or at least the book that has disappointed me the most this year, and that was Slade House by David Mitchell, because I was expecting a lot more. And instead of that, I got this very episodical, very simple, very uninteresting, plain collection of stories that just didn't touch me, didn't move me, didn't do anything for me. I was just not impressed, and I don't even feel negatively. I don't feel hatred towards it, but it was just such a plain. It was a waste of time. For example, Robin Hobb's book Ship of Magic, I feel more strongly about this one. I really didn't like it, but at least I was interested in it, and I was interested, right? But this one is just such a So yeah, those are the worst books that I've read so far this year, that I read this year. Yeah, that's all I want to say. I don't like being negative. Actually, I kind of do. We're liars. We're just a bunch of liars. Everyone loves being negative. Everyone, you do. You do it too. You just admit it. Own up to it. You enjoy negativity. You enjoy it. Anyway, thanks for watching.